Yeah, just now I started recording and let me share my screen also. So far, whatever discussion we did, okay, we did theoretical discussion. So from today, we will go on practical. So I will show you one simple API, okay, which will help you to understand how exactly. Sorry, am I audible now? Can anyone confirm I'm
Yes,
audible
Ravi.
or not?
Yes, Ravi.
Actually, my internet went slow, but yeah, now it's okay. Okay, so we will go with some simple API to give you some understanding how API works. Okay, so what will be objective of this API? Okay, so here
Ravi, again we missed your voice.
oh no, I'm not speaking anything. I'm just opening this website and all. Hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, yes, Ravi.
So what we are going to do now? So we are going to develop one mule API. What this mule API will do? It will help to communicate. It will different system to communicate with each other. What will be two different system? One will be front end.
Ravi, sorry for interrupt. Are you sharing
Yeah.
screen?
Yes, I started.
We are not able to see your screen.
Okay. Is same issue with everyone? Is there anyone who can see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
Ravi.
Yes, Ravi,
I'm
we
able
can
to
see.
see your screen.
Yes,
Okay,
Ravi.
so maybe
I'm
Okay.
able
I'm
to
hearing.
see.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Maybe I will rejoin.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, in that case, like this. Yeah, try to rejoin.
Yeah.
So here, what is the objective of this API? This API will help to communicate front-end system. You know, front-end system can be mobile application or it can be web application. So this will be our source system, and we will have one target system. So this system is third-party API. API to give exchange rate. So from front-end system, we will get request. Okay, so what requests they will make? So here in request, they will pass form currency, base currency. Okay, so it from source system, we will get these two currency. Okay, and what will be objective of this API? We will call this API to get exchange rate. Okay, this is third party API. Why I'm saying third party API? So there are multiple API service provider. What they do, they will provide you API for different purpose. Here using MuleSoft also we are creating our own API, and this is third party API means someone has created this API to give you exchange rate. Okay. So as a input of this API, we need again source currency and target currency. Okay. So that we will see what all input this API want. But From this API, we will get request as a from currency and base currency. This will be request. And as a response, we need exchange rate. Okay. So this is the source system which will pass from currency and base currency to Mule API. And they are expecting this Mule API will integrate with heterogeneous system, some third-party API to get the exchange rate value, and it will pass that exchange rate value to this application. Okay. Everyone clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Ravi, can you please give me a small brief again?
Okay. 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 So here means this front end, there is one front end application. Okay. They want exchange rate value. So you know what is exchange rate. Every currency, let's say if you are giving, okay, let me show you here. So here, MuleSoft has integrated their exchange rate API. I'm saying MuleSoft. Google has integrated their exchange rate API. What you are passing here? You are passing from currency. So if you are passing from currency equals to 100 rupees, and this currency, US dollar. So what you are getting? You are getting base currency value. If your foreign currency is 100 rupees, what is your base currency? 1.22. Okay. So here they have front-end system. Front-end means this web application. This web application is internally calling another API. Okay. That API is retrieving this exchange rate value and it's giving us exchange amount. If you are passing 100 rupees, then it's giving you exchange rate of 1.22. Okay. So here, whatever front-end system is there, instead of calling this API, whatever existing API is there, they want to call MuleSoft API. So to fulfill that purpose, we are developing here Mule API. We are developing this Mule API where this mobile application will pass from currency, base currency. Okay. And then what we will do to provide this service, exchange rate service, there will be some third-party API which will be responsible to provide this like exchange rate value. Okay, so what we will do from here, we will call this API, we will get exchange rate value, and then we will pass this exchange rate to this mobile application. Is this clear or not?
Yeah, clear.
They will pass from currency, base currency, and response they want exchange rate. Okay, now from where MuleSoft will get this exchange rate value, so they will call some third-party system. Okay, so here MuleSoft need one HTTP requester. So why I'm saying MuleSoft need HTTP requester component? So this connector will help you to connect with any third-party API. Okay, here we have one third-party API. I want to communicate with this third-party API. So I need this HTTP requester connector, which is available in MuleSoft. Okay. From MuleSoft, if you want to connect with any REST API, external REST API, to call that REST API, you need this HTTP requester component. So this component will help us to connect with this system. Now coming to source side. Here what we are trying to do, we are exposing this API as a REST API. So whenever you want to expose your API as a REST API, so in MuleSoft, we have one connector for this. That is HTTP connector again. but in HTTP connector, we have HTTP. To expose our API, if you want to expose our MuleSoft API, as a REST API, then you will use HTTP connector, and in HTTP connector, we will use listener operation. Okay, so in any connector there will be multiple operation. So in HTTP connector, which operation we will use? Listener operation. And here what we are trying to do, we are calling this third party API. So whenever you want to call any third party API, any external API from MuleSoft, then you need HTTP connector again, but operation will be requested. Okay. Now from name also, you will able to understand what is connector. So in MuleSoft, connector will help you to connect with external system. Here, what it's doing, it's helping us to connect with external system as a front-end system. Here, this connector is helping us to connect with third-party Mule application, third-party API. Okay. So whenever connector will come in the picture, the main purpose of connector to connect with external system. External system can be Salesforce, it can be database, it can be third-party API, it can be JMS systems. Whenever you want to connect with external system, then you need to use connector. Okay, we have multiple connector for different system. Here I want to expose my API as a REST API, so I will use HTTP connector. I want to call REST API, so I will use HTTP connector. Only thing will be different here, operation. This listener operation will be used to expose our API as a REST API. This requester operation will be used to call any REST API. Hope till this point everyone is clear. If anyone has any doubt, quickly. Sorry,
Yes,
go ahead.
the listener one, the first one, the connector, like not the third party, the first one. So what does it do, like
First.
exactly? It just received
Okay.
or
Yeah.
the data or anything that it does receive, or just translated? How is it? Just
Okay.
to take
Yeah.
the data, or just it does do anything other than receiving it?
So this one, listener one, this is a entry point. Okay, source system. Okay, so it will create one address for your API. Okay, once you will deploy your API on internet. So in internet we have multiple addresses. So how any request will reach to this API? So first purpose of this HTTP listener to provide one address to this API. Okay, first part clear?
Okay, just creating one API, whichever the request is, right? That's what you need.
So it fulfill three purpose. First purpose will be it will provide one address to outside world. If someone want to call this API, should have internet, correct? Where we are deploying this API on server, it should have some address. In server, there will be thousands of API. How you will connect with this API only. So this API should contain one address. Here. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So first thing, it will provide one address to this API, so anyone can call this API. That will be first. Second, it will receive all the request. Whatever request will come from here, it will receive that request. In that request, there will be multiple data. Okay. And what all data can be possible? It will be message and variable. Inside message, it will be attribute and payload. Inside attribute, it will be header, query parameter, URI parameter. So what all data it will receive? Header, query parameter, URI parameter, payload and variable. So these many data it will receive. And it will send response also. Okay, so this connector only responsible to send response back. So HTTP connector listener operation is responsible to receive request, to send response, and it will be responsible to create one address. Okay. Now, whenever listener will receive the request, so first what it will do required transformation. Okay, so here what transformation we will do, I will explain after some time when I will show you this API. Okay, at this moment I'm not showing this. And then once we will get response from here, then so this requester, HTTP requester will be responsible to call this third-party API. So once it will call this API, we will get some response. And once we will get response back, again, we will do some transformation. Okay, and once the like response will be transformed, it will send to listener and listener will send to this API, who is like a front-end system, who is calling our API. Anyone has any doubt till this point, let me know. Everyone clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now
Yes,
we
sir.
will go on. Okay, so now we will go on implementation part. So first I will show you, this is the existing API on internet, how we will consume this API. Okay, then I will show you how we will develop this API. So first, let me explain you this part. Okay, so let me first search any API which provide exchange rate. So in internet, you can search lots of API. I have already, let me search. So here I have one API. This is API layer. Some other website is there. I will tell you means how to call this API and all. So here what you can see, whenever we are calling any API, we are providing URL. So this is nothing but this is URL. Okay. First day also I told you, like we have, if you want to call any API, that API will have some address. Okay. So what is the address?
The first HTTP from API,
Let me tell you.
DNS URL.
Let me break this into 4 parts. Actually, any URL contains 4 parts.
It contains host port.
Yeah. So you can see in this URL. Okay, this complete thing is known as URL. URL first part is HTTPS. So whenever you are connecting with any API, okay, whenever any API want to do data exchange, so that URL contain protocol. Okay. So first thing is protocol. In internet, if you want to connect with, like if you want to data exchange, so either you follow HTTP protocol or HTTPS protocol. So here this API is following HTTPS protocol. Protocol is nothing but it's a rule to do data exchange. In internet, whenever you want to do data exchange, you have to follow some rules. Okay, so this protocol is nothing but set of rule you must need to follow whenever you do a data exchange on internet. Okay, so we have two protocol. One is HTTP, another one is HTTPS. This API is following HTTPS protocol. Okay, so it's up to you whenever you are developing your API and you are exposing that API on internet. It's up to you which protocol you want to, by following which protocol you want to deploy your application. Okay, so for each protocol, there will be different configuration that you need to do. So whoever developed this API, they followed HTTPS protocol. Okay, and protocol is nothing but it's a set of rule that govern data communication on internet. The second part is this. So this is known as domain. Okay, this is known as domain. In actual, this domain, in actual, this will be something like this 10.10.23.45 colon 8081. Okay, generally your address, this domain is nothing but its address. So address will be set of host and port. Okay, this address will be nothing but it will be host and port. Okay, by combining this host and port, we create domain. Okay, so here API layer.com, this is domain. This is nothing but it's a combination of host and port. Just give me 1 minute. So this domain is nothing but it's a combination of host and port. So host is like your, okay, this domain will help us to connect with our API. So whenever you deploy your API on internet, that API must be deployed on some address. Okay, so that address will be a combination of host and port. Host is nothing but your city. You can assume like including your house excluding your house number. Domain is everything. Okay, like your city, country, whatever is there. And this port is your house number. In real, if you want to correlate with your real world example, if you want to send any email to your home, or if you want to send any post to your home, so what you need to provide there? You need to provide your entire detail like city, country, pin code, and then your house number. So this port is nothing but it's a house number. In this address, there will be multiple house. In which house my application is deployed? So this is the port. And this is your city, country, and other detail. Okay, this is the medium you want to send through Blue Dart or you want to send through Indian Post. Okay, so this is the protocol. HTTPS is protocol. Means which service you want to use. You want to use Blue Dart, you want to use Speed Post or whatever service. Okay, then this one is path. Okay, so whenever you will reach in this particular address, within a home, there can be multiple user. Okay, within a home, there can be multiple person. So this tell about your base path. Okay, in that home, which person will receive that whatever post is there. Okay, so this is known as base path. So for our API also, whenever we will develop API, we will provide base path. And this last one, okay, this last one is query parameter. Okay, query parameter actually it's not mandatory thing. Okay, query parameter will tell you it tells us filter condition. Okay, so whenever you will go in that home, so you will call, okay, this is the person, like let's say we have 4 or 5 person. So how you will identify? There should be some identifier. So this means this is not exact real world like correlation, but you can treat as a there will be some identifier. So this query parameter will give you filter condition. Okay, how you will filter out in this home which person I need to connect. Okay, so whenever you have any filter condition, let's say you want to get the customer information. Let's say you have 1,000 customer information and you want to get the customer information having age more than 50 years. Okay, so in database, there can be thousands of customer. I want only those customer whose age is more than 50 years. So what you need here, you need some filter condition. So this query parameter is nothing but it's a filter condition. So whenever you want to develop any API where you need filter condition, then you will pass query parameter. So here, what is filter condition? From currency, to currency, from currency, and amount. Okay, these three are filter condition here. So we are passing inside query parameter. Okay, everyone clear till this point? So here, this is the URL of this API. Okay, in which it contain protocol. First thing is protocol that tell us set of rule by which like they will communicate or they will do data exchange on internet. Second part is domain. Domain is nothing but it's a combination of host and port. Okay, and then it will contain base path. Base path is nothing but it's a inside home, which room you want to go. You can say like this, or you can say inside the society, which house number you want to go. This is the base path. And then we will have some filter condition. If there are multiple people in that home and we want to send to particular person, or we want to give that post to few selected people, then we need filter condition. And this is not mandatory. Filter condition is not mandatory. Okay, if anyone has any doubt, let me know. So to call this API, to call any API, we need all these parameters. Okay. Now you will say how you will check this API. Okay, to call this API, we need one tool that is known as Postman. Okay, so this one is very straightforward to install this tool. So what you need to do, go to internet, search for Postman, Postman download. Okay, there are multiple tools by which you can test REST API. So Postman is one of the like very famous tool in market. We have some other tool also. I think REST. Microsoft is using one tool. I forgot. SOAP UI is there, which is also very famous. But Postman is among all the tool. Postman is very famous. Okay, so we will also use Postman only. Once you will type this Postman download, so here you can see download Postman. Click on this. Here, automatically it will detect your operating system. Click on this. Okay, and here you will able to see we have this like they are downloading this software. I have already this software downloaded, so let me show you that one.
Ravi, for MuleSoft, it is using advanced REST client.
Yeah, correct. Advanced. But that is not very popular software.
Ah,
I think in
Postman,
Post project and all, 90% or 95% places you will see Postman only. Everyone is handy with Postman and it's open
Post.
source. It's easy to use also. So I have already downloaded that software so that I have somewhere. Yeah, this one. Okay. So once you will download this setup file, okay, you need to click on this. It will do like in your case, it might ask 1-2 step, like you just need to click yes, yes. I'm not 100% sure it will ask or not. It will ask or not. It might ask. Okay. Just click yes, yes, 1-2 time. Okay. Then this software will open. So what I will do to give you similar experience, what you will get. Let me switch the workspace. Okay. So once you will do setup first time, then it will give you this kind of view. Okay. It will give you this kind of. So I will give some name to my workspace. Let's say. Also training. Then create workspace. So here you can see you will also get this kind of empty workspace. In your case, you will get empty a workspace like my workspace. Here I created new workspace. So I'm getting this empty workspace. Okay. Now, once you will get workspace, you can see here new. Click on this new. And then here you can see many options. You need to select HTTP requester. Click on this. And then by default, it will give you method. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention here. So whenever you are developing any API, it will contain method also. So we have get method, post method, patch method, delete method. Okay, like this we have get, post, patch, put. Now you will say, what is this method? Okay, so if you are developing any API, okay, that API can perform different operation. Let's say you are developing any customer API. That customer API can do multiple operations. What all operation can do? It can create new customer. It can update existing customer. It can like delete any existing customer. So that API can perform multiple operation. So based on the operation, you need to select method. Okay. If you are retrieving resource detail, if you are retrieving any customer detail, you will use get method. For this API also, what this API is doing here, this API giving us exchange rate detail. So we are retrieving some information from here. If you are retrieving some information from your API, then you should give get method. Then we have post method. If you are creating new records, okay, using that API, if you are creating new records or new resources, then we should use post method. Okay. If your API is updating any existing record, okay, then we should use put method. But if you are updating partial detail, okay, put. If you are updating complete detail, then we will use put. If you are updating partial detail, then we will use patch. You are deleting the resource, then we will use delete method. Okay. So based on the operation, what your API will perform, we should select method. Okay. So you can see here, when I created Postman, first thing here, it's asking to select method. Okay. And for this API, what API we are going to call, okay, that API use this get method since we are retrieving information. Okay. Second thing, this is the endpoint. What you need to do, copy this endpoint, paste it here. Okay, so when I pasted this endpoint here, you can see here we got 3 query parameter. This 3 query parameter, as I mentioned, we have filter condition. You can see all the query parameter here inside params. Here, to from amount, this 3 query parameter is here. These are the value of those 3 query parameter. To call this API, we need some header also. That header, what I will do, I will copy from. I have in this workspace, so let me take it from here. Got converted from some other API. So here we are passing one header also. Header is nothing but it's a combination of, like, whenever you are defining anything, query parameter, URI parameter, or header. Okay, so all these things will be passed as a in the form of key value pair. Okay, so here you can see we are passing this header API key and value is this. Okay, so all this data, either you can see in query parameter also, we have 3 query parameter, all having key value pair. Key is to, value is UST. Key is from, value is JPN, JPY, and key is amount and value is 1. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. So here you can see we are passing query parameter. Query parameter is nothing but it's a filter condition. And here you can see we are passing in the form of key value pair. So whenever we are passing any data to this API, we are always passing in the form of key value pair. Here you can see we are passing header. Now you will say query parameter is filter condition. Then what is header? Header is nothing but it's a metadata. Okay. Whenever you are calling any API, then we need to pass some metadata to API. Okay. Metadata means it's not actual data what we are passing for processing purpose. Metadata will help you, will support that request data. Okay, whatever data you are passing to your API. So this metadata will help, like it help to support your data. Okay, so we'll see, like you will get more understanding about metadata. It's not as in short, you can understand it's not actual data. What we are, what that API will process. It will support the actual data. So here you can see API key. This API key is not the data what we are passing to this API. Okay, so this API key is just for security purpose. If you will pass incorrect API key, you will not able to call this API. So this API key help this API to understand this request is coming from valid resource or not. Okay, if it is coming from valid source, then he must need to pass valid API key. And how you will generate this register for this API. Okay, so they will give you one API key. Okay. I hope everyone getting this. To call this API, we are passing this header. Header is nothing but it's a metadata. Okay, and here what metadata we are passing? We are passing one API key for security purpose to ensure that this request is coming from valid user. Then this query parameter is filter condition and other detail we have to identify this API on internet, since this API is deployed on internet, and we are going to consume this API. Okay, so everyone clear with this till this point? And when you will see, I am passing two currency as USD from currency Japan, then it will give you one value. So what is exchange rate? 0.076. Let me change it. From currency will be USD and two currency is INR. So one USD, how much INR? It will be 81.78. Okay, so this API is giving us exchange rate value. Okay. Now we will call this API. So I am ready with this setup. So one setup is ready. So if I go to that diagram again. So in this diagram, you can see this API setup is ready. How we will call this API? That setup we did. So whenever you will get requirement and you need to call third-party API, first do setup of the third-party API in your Postman. Okay, this is not mandatory, but if you will do setup in Postman and if you will make call from here, at least you will ensure that that API is up and working fine. So what I did, I just now I tested this API is up and working fine or not. Okay, so with the help of Postman, I tested everything. Later on, we will include this connector to call this API. Your job free. Just give me one more minute. Balaji, you have any question?
Yes, Ravi. Where you can get that API key? Actually, the expiration will be there for the API key, which you have provided in the.
Yes, it's correct. So at this moment, don't worry about that point. Okay, I will, when we will start project now, I will tell you entire step. At this moment, many people are very new. If I will go with that step, then maybe they may feel difficulty. Okay. So let it be for later stage. I will tell you, I will do entire setup in front of you. At this moment, API is ready for you. Okay, I will provide this postman. So API is ready for you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so everyone clear on this part, diagram and everything what we are going to do. Objective wise, everyone should be clear. We are going to consume this API, third party API, means we are going to consume this third party API, what I did set up just now. Whenever front end will make request to our API, we will receive that request. We will do required transformation. With the help of requester, we will call this third party API. We will get response from there and we will find the exchange rate. Here you can see we are getting too many things, but we will take only exchange rate value. Okay. And then we will send response back. Okay, fine then. So for today, we are good. Today I will not develop API. Actually, it's already 1 hour. Tomorrow we will do development. I will start development tomorrow. If I will start today, then it might take 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Okay, I will not take extended session.